This one was sent in by level 9000 Yadru Drew Davenport. Thank you, Drew. It's from Yadru Answers user Max Tyler.
Sometimes I can sense a smile in you when you begin to read these, and I always get very excited.
They're just really good. In a war between Centaurs... Why did I say it like that?
I figured it was misspelled, and you were giving the person shit. Centaurs.
You saying them centaurs and unicorns?
In a war between Centaurs and men on horses, who would win? By the way, it would be in a fantasy world with swords, spears, bows, and arrows and such like. Thanks in advance. This question is fucking on point.
Okay, I'm not going to just start. Let's not do the thing we always do where we just start running our fucking mouths before we actually think about it. We're going to take, I'm sorry, listener, perhaps you have a 15-second skip button on your player. Let's give ourselves 15 seconds to just fucking think about this for a second.
I have a bit of filler for the audience to think about while we think about it. Do you think the first time a centaur sees a person on horseback get off the horse, they just start screaming in terror?
That would be very scary. All right,
okay.
Travis, shut your fucking gob and think about this.
Think about it. Ready, go.
I got my answer.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
I'm ready too.
3, 2, 1. Men on
horseback. Yeah. Okay.
And here's how I came to this conclusion. Centaurs is one big beautiful beast, and don't get me wrong, big beautiful beast, love it. And there's certainly a thing you can put in the pro column of just like full synthesis, full unity, full integration. You're gonna have there's going to be even the most beautiful domesticated horse with the most beautiful like connection with a jockey, even if they're in the fucking drift together, there's gonna be
you've petted them every time they've turned left or stopped for you at the right time. You know what I mean? All the hearts exploded around their heads.
There's a break point there of just how good that relationship can be. There's a loss of control there somewhere. But the thing I just can't get over is centaurs have 1 hit point and a man and a horse have 2.
Yeah, it's hard to deny that if you take out a centaur's legs, then it's done. If you take out the man on horseback's legs, he's got another sort of methodology he can employ.
I was thinking of spears, right? You throw a spear through a centaur, you've hit the centaur. You would have to throw that spear really good to get it through dude and horse. You know what I mean?
Now here's the question though, Griffin. In that case, if the centaur takes out person, is the horse like, I'm gonna keep fighting? Or is the horse like, thank God, bye?
Wow, this is actually a fucking great point, because this gets back to that animal rider synthesis. If the man is killed, does horse continue the fight? I think that takes a special kind of horse, so like a really just a murder biscuit, if you will. That was
what is the horse gonna do? Like, well, Daryl's down. I guess I'll go eat all their oats, so they won't have any for later.
Well, I'm gonna burn their homes. Whoa, horse!
What you just said is racist. The centaurs would eat oats. No, actually, it's not, because I eat oats sometimes.
Yeah, thank you. Form. Yeah, okay, everybody likes oats, except for me, who only eats beans. Now, if the horse ate all my beans, then we'd have a fucking issue.
Yeah, you'd have a real problem. This is a fucking good point. I think this might change the equation a little bit, because if you get a centaur in the horse meat, then I think they might be able to keep going a little bit, right? If you get a man, there's very little meat I have that if attacked with a big spear, I could keep the fire. You know what I mean? But a centaur, there's a lot of extra stuff on there. Shit. Because if you take me out, my horse is done. My horse isn't going to do anything to a centaur.
Yeah. And also, you do have to get into the question of where the centaur is keeping their vital organs. Because I
have no idea.
If it's all in the human section, then you could just keep taking arrows to the horse meat and like brush it off. Your horse takes 1 arrow. He's going to be like, actually, I thought about it. Fuck all you guys. I'm actually leaving. Goodbye. I'm sorry. I know we're 2 souls intertwined in the most magical relationship possible, but I actually am going to go ahead and dip because this sucks.
I'm out of here. Here's a Yahoo Answers user, Robin, whose profile image is just the word Irish. Cool. Says, centaurs would win. because they can use the bow and arrows better than humans can. That's if there was a real war between centaurs versus human, they would all be dead. Oof. Didn't even think about the fact that centaurs would be better with the bow and arrows.
You cannot bring in those facts. We do not know what kind of training anybody has in this. That has to be a zero something.
Is there something about the integration of human and horse that makes them inherently better at archery? I'm confused. I know that like lore-wise, centaurs are amazing archers, but I'm talking like we're talking about a real war here. You know what I mean? Not some fantasy war.
We're talking about real centaurs, okay?
Yeah.
I think I've changed
from
my
days
answer.
of old.
Okay, wait a minute. We're talking about a war, not a battle, not a skirmish, a war. You cannot, like, look at the Civil War, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at how important, like, predicting troop movement was in that war, and it led to several lopsided battles and sort of predicting where the enemy was going to be. I'm sure that's true for any war. I've just read more books about the Civil War. So if you can assume that centaurs are going to be more mobile and going to be able to sort of be in other places like faster than the humans, then like in terms of like troop formation and sort of moving your resources around, the centaurs might actually have an advantage there.
Oh, shit. Not only that, Justin, but speaking of resources, you only got to feed a centaur once.
Yes, exactly. You got to feed a dude and a horse separately. That's double the food. Fuck.
Okay.
And centaurs are probably just eating apples. So.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
I mean, yeah. And like terrain, I was going to say something about terrain being an issue for a centaur, but like you've got to bring your horses. So it's like can't be, that's equal. But there is the issue. Now, okay, you do have to imagine, though, that the caloric load of a centaur.
It's tremendous.
It's tremendous. I mean, it's not going to be 1-to-1, but there are certainly some efficiencies.
That's right. Strike it from the pro list. It's gone. It's gone. Is there something to be said about the styles of combat that humans beings have that centaurs do not have, right? Like centaurs, essentially, it's all cavalry, no infantry. And so like the human beings dismount the horses and you put those like poles to the spikes on the ground sticking out towards the horses. You could build like a centaur barricade pretty well, I feel like. Another thing is that centaurs, very little stealth capabilities, I feel like. Very little guerrilla combat available to them. You go into a woods and they're playing an ambush and all you hear is like, clop, 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 clop. You're like, there's fucking centaurs here. Everybody stay frosty.
Let's just open up the big book that nobody is willing to look at, but I'm going to pull it off the shelf, blow the dust off, and it's a big book labeled espionage. And that's going to be extremely difficult for a human, but feasible. If you got the right costume, you could maybe pull it off. If you're a centaur double agent, no one is fooled. There's just no
you just drape some fucking jeans around your torso, and it'll be like, that's a weird way to ride a horse. Like, don't you judge me, me and this animal. Where's your horse's head? Don't worry about it. It's in the jeans with me.
And Justin, I'm sorry, but I'll tell you who's fooled. A horse.
Yep.
The human might not be, but the horse is like, hey, I'm going to come hang out with you guys here. You're all horses. What's that? Tranquilizer. Let's go. Right?
Yeah.
And you're in there. Also, here's the thing. We can't separate. I don't think it's fair in this discussion to talk about human separate from horse versus centaur. Because, like, that's not the question. It's person on horse.
That's the only fucking thing we got going for us in this fight. You want to tie a hand behind our back? No way.
It's a plus and a minus.
Then you could say, well, but then the centaurs are going to partner with some fairies and shit, and like then they're in there.
No, come on, you're confusing this fucking conversation for no reason. My ability to get off a horse is the only thing separating me from centaurs. This and their ability has to factor in,
and their connection, their deep connection, is the advantage over us. It's the one defining factor.
Right.
Now, I will grant Travis that I think that allowing for humans to like sort of build traps and what have you, is against the spirit. I think it's against the spirit of the question. I think the assumption has to be anytime these two are fighting, it is definitely man on
whose fucking side are you on in this thing? Because it sounds like you're like anti-human now.
I'm just torn about it, Griffin, because the thing is, if they do separate and can separate, it also lends the Centaurs an advantage, because if they get the drop on the humans, it could be a massacre. I mean, it could be.
I could fuck up a Centaur right
Hold
now.
on.
I'm
this
not
is
afraid.
fucked up. This is fucked up. Can we agree? Like, I think what we have to all accept now is the ultimate is a person Centaur team up.
Whoa, hold on.
Right?
Whoa, I did not expect this West Side Story
This
bullshit.
is a love story that blossoms.
But
here.
imagine that. Think about riding a horse and being able to like also strategize with them.
Oh,
and like
my
be like, you go
God.
left, I'll go right. You pick me back up, and then we're gonna like.
I have a very short list of people in my life where if I was a Centaur, I would be okay with them riding me. It's a very short. And boys, I don't know if you're on it. It's like really short.
Give me a bit more time on this low carb diet. We'll see. It may be a little.
It's
bit
not a
more
weight thing. It's
palatable.
not a weight thing. It's not a weight thing. Because
Okay.
first of all, if I was a Centaur, I would have the most beautiful, strong, proud back, and I can carry anybody.
Why do you not think that your Centaur form would be a reflection of your current uber fragile, no hot food allowed human state? I don't see why you're granting yourself
No. If I was
like
a Centaur, I'd have a
immunity
big-
to stomach acid all of a sudden.
Big, beautiful, proud, strong back. I can carry anybody. It is not a. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with my pride, I guess.
You never just
Would
see
you?
like.
Wait, who would you? Well, who's at the top of your list? Who's number one? Yes.
I mean, it was in our vows, and you guys were at the wedding, so you know Rachel. I mean, my son, but it's dangerous up there. Big, strong back, and he can't really sit up so good yet. So
I'm gonna say Joe
eventually.
Biden's at the top of mine.
Joe Biden's up there for me too. I mean, that goes without saying, just because I think he probably does have some sort of equestrian experience.
And he'll call himself Joe Ryden, which is like, oh, Joe.
Yes. So good. Now, are we assuming that the first time they meet, there is no period in which the Centaurs are sort of swept up, or sorry, the humans are sort of swept up in the majesty and beauty of seeing Centaurs for real?
We're going to lose a lot of humans just from that sort of shock factor.
Oh, see, I think the opposite. I think humans, what we know about humans in, now is like the immediate distrust of like, no, we're just going to go ahead and just start the war. I think humans start the war. I think
there's
Centaurs
no
are like,
reality
Humans
in
definitely
which
start the war, yeah.
the humans will be more upset by the sort of like fear of the outsider here than Centaurs are going to be about the blasphemy of humans riding horses. That will disgust them.
And here's a factor we've never considered in this argument yet. What makes us think this war gets going, this war is popping off? What makes us think that the horses are going to stay on our fucking side?
oh, fuck. You're right.
I think that's the deciding factor here. I think maybe they'll stick with us for a while, right? Just because it's what they know. We give them sugar cubes, but after a minute, they see this other way of living, and they're like, "Hey, you know what? You keep me in a big jail and feed me sugar cubes only. Bye."
If that happens, we're fucked. Like,
If that happens, we're done. Like, we're done. And the only way to like get a grasp on that situation is to tighten the grip. And I'm fucking uncomfortable with that. Like, I don't want to win like that.
No, Griffin, I think we need to build more trust with our horses. Now, now.
We've got to
Start
promise them. We've got to promise them liberty. We've got to promise them freedom if they help us win this war.
Well, this is why.
Is this like the beginning of a Planet of the Apes movie where like us working with horses is what leads to centaurs, and then we have to fight our own, like that's the future, the centaurs
Okay, Travis, are you suggesting, and I think you are, and I'm just going to pretend you are if you aren't, are you suggesting that over like this war takes quite a while, and in an underground bunker, hidden from the eyes of centaur and more faithful humans alike, scientists decide that the only recourse is to breed our own race of centaurs in the exact way that you think that would happen.
Yes, and then we
because
send
I'm
them
into it.
back to like fight the war for us at the beginning.
Boys,
this is like a Terminator situation.
Boys, I'm thinking about those early centaurs. Oh, there's gonna be some whoopsies in there, huh?
Oh, wait a minute.
It's just a fucking horse body, 4 hooves, and then just like at the armpits, it starts right at the end of the top hooves, and the dude's arms and head just hanging down like, oh yes, oats me, dog.
Can you imagine a centaur with horse body, horse neck, human head? No torso, just human head on horse neck.
Imagine horse body, no neck or head, but then the human torso and arms and human head are coming out of the side of the horse body.
Oh,
He's just always stunting off the side.
Wait a minute.
This is true. Centaurs are always seen with like upright, spine from where the neck would be. What if it's just straight out continuation, just flat looking downward?
Travis, I'm going to go with your plan. We send the Centaurs back in time to begin the war, but we send them back too far. And what do? They continue to breed. And then what do we find out? That's right. The Centaurs that we're fighting in present day are the descendants of the Centaurs that we ourselves invented and sent back in time.
It was our own hubris.
Someone needs to stop us.
We need to stop making mix-ups in God's Chipotle and just kind of accept what we have on Earth. Stop throwing the beans and rice around in the good Lord's Chipotle and just kind of be satisfied with what we get.
Appreciate every day. Every day is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
Maybe the Centaurs deserve to win.
I think the Centaurs deserve to win. I think it's time to give someone else a shot. Give someone else a chance. Good knows we've already screwed this pooch. I think it's time to give somebody else a chance at running things. I'm talking about these Centaurs. I cannot stop thinking about a side saddle Centaur. That is the most grisly life I could ever envision.
Horse head, human body.
Yeah, I mean,
good.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. Yeah, you never really think about that. That like the perfect blend probably took quite a few generations of experimentation. Well, folks, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it for us.
Oh shit, that was like 25 minutes of horse talk.
Daisy. That's our whole episode. We hope you enjoyed this discussion because it was half the show, and the ones before it also were there.